Khordad Yast. Only the first two sections of this Yast refer to its nominal object, Ha'urvatat, the genius of health and waters. The rest of the Yast refers to the performance of the Barashnum ceremony as being the test of the true Zoroastrian. As the Barashnum purification was performed by Ahriman to drive away the myriads of diseases created by Engra Ma'inu, its laudation is not quite unaptly inserted in a Yast devoted to the genius of health. Now, the includence of urine, purified or not, could have deterred people who would have accepted the teaching were it not for that. So if the priest wanted to keep the religion in the race, well, if you weren't raised with this, I don't know, not bathing in urine for days. The Khordad Yast can be recited at any time. It is better to recite it during the Ga Usahin on the day of Khordad. And the text, there's corruptions in the text, I guess. And most, if not all, things this old are. But 0. May Ahura Mazda be rejoiced, and so on. Asham Bahu, holiness is the best of all good, and so on. I confess myself a worshipper of Mazda, a follower of Zarathustra, one who hates the Da'avas and obeys the laws of Ahura. For sacrifice, prayer, propitiation, glorification unto Havana, the holy and master of holiness, and so on. Unto Ha'urvatat, the master, unto the prosperity of the seasons, and unto the years, the master of holiness. B. Propitiation with sacrifice, prayer, propitiation, and glorification. Yatha ahuv eryo. The will of the Lord is the law of holiness. We sacrifice unto Ha'urvatat, the Amesha Spenta. We sacrifice unto the prosperity of the seasons. We sacrifice unto the years, the holy and masters of holiness. 1. Ahura Mazda spake unto Spitama Zarathustra, saying, I created for the faithful the help, the enjoyments, the comforts, and the pleasures of Ha'urvatat. We unite them with him who would come up to thee as one of the Amesha Spentas, as he would come to any of the Amesha Spentas. Ahu Mano, Ashavahista, Shatra Va'erya, Spenta, Armaete, Ha'urvatat, and Amaratat. 2. He who, against the thousands of those Da'avas, against their 10,000s of 10,000s, against their numberless myriads, would invoke the name of Ha'urvatat as one of the Amesha Spentas, he would smite the Nasu, he would smite the Hase, he would smite the Base, he would smite the Sa'en, he would smite Buge. 3. I proclaim the faithful man as the first of men. If I proclaim the faithful man as the first of men, then Rashnu Resista, then every heavenly Yazata of male nature, in company with the Amesha Spentas, will free the faithful man from the Nasu, from Hase, from Gase, from Sa'ane, from Buge, from the hordes with the wide front, from the hordes with the many spears uplifted, from the evil man who oppresses, from the willful sinner, from the oppressor of men, from the Atu, from the Pa Evreka, from the straying away. How does the way of the faithful turn and part from the way of the wicked? Ahura Mazda answered, it is when a man pronouncing my spell, either reading or reciting it by heart, draws the furrows and hides there himself, saying, I will smite thee, O Droog, whomsoever thou art among the Droogs that come in an open way, whomsoever thou art among the Droogs that come by hidden ways, whomsoever thou art among the Droogs that defile by contract, whatsoever Droog thou art, I smite thee away from the Aryan countries. Whatsoever Droog thou art, I bind thee, I smite thee down, O Droog, I throw thee down below, O Droog. 7. He draws, then 3 furrows. I proclaim him one of the faithful. He draws 6 furrows. I proclaim him one of the faithful. He draws 9 furrows. I proclaim him one of the faithful. 8. The names of those, Mesha Spentas, smite the men turned to Nasus by the Drugs, the seed, and the kin of the deaf are smitten, the scornful are dead, as the Za'atar, Zarathustra, blows them away to woe, however fierce at his will and wish, as many as he wishes. 9. From the time when the sun is down, he smites them with bruising blows. From the time when the sun is no longer up, he deals deadly blows on the Nasu with his club struck down, for the propitiation and glorification of the heavenly entities. 10. O Zarathustra, let not that spell be shown to any one except by the father to his son, or by the brother to his brother from the same womb, or by the Athravan to his people, and black hair devoted to the good law, who devoted to the good law, holy and brave, stills all the Drugs. 11. For his brightness and glory I will offer unto him a sacrifice worth being heard, namely unto Ha'urvatat, the Ameshaspenta. Unto Ha'urvatat, the Ameshaspenta, we offer up libations, the Ha'ama and meat, the Berisma, the wisdom of the tongue, the holy spells, the speech, the deeds, the libations, the rightly spoken words. Yata Ahuva Ario, the will of the Lord is the law of holiness, and so on. I bless the sacrifice and prayer and the strength and vigor of Ha'urvatat, the master and of the prosperity of the seasons and of the years, and the masters of holiness, Asham Bahu, holiness is the best of all good, and so on. Give unto that man brightness and glory, and so on. Give him the bright, all happy, blissful abode of the holy ones. And one of the things about this, see, benedictions that come upon, much like, in Islamic tradition, it's not that anybody's worshiping Muhammad, they're offering prayers upon him. So that's what these people are doing here. They're offering prayers upon these. They're building up their side, and so we have another, I guess, 30 comments to look over here. And so the names of the Ameshaspentas, instead we are having, as contrary to the names of the Avas, according to the Parsi translator of the Dinkart, Hase is he who makes skeptical. Base is he who gives rise to the barking disease. Sa'enne is he who causes harm. Buge is he who preys upon. And an obvious connection that one can point to is I am one of the faithful, is what's being said in that, the proclamation. And then we have the reference to the genius of truth, Rashnu Resista. And the people who say this want to be freed as one of the faithful. And later the question arises, how is the wicked known from the faithful one? And so, okay, and in reference to these 5 types of demons, remember 5 is one of those numbers, 5, 7, 9, or in 6. But Mavra'o, Pahlavi, Os Morit, Sanskrit, Avyeta, Safar Unit, Posha Yate, Pusta Kayate, of Yasna 1906. So the furrows dug, the scratches like you're planting something or whatever in the 9-night ceremony. And some, instead of Azaete, read Ya Azdaete, he cleanses. And the reading in regards to the furrows and the hides, Nasum Kereta, or Nasu Kereta. Duzavat, both the reading and the meaning are doubtful. Mr. West says sends to hell, reading it Duzangvat or Duzangat. And some would read Ashava instead of Asova in verse 8. And that's also in verse 10, the same alternate reading. And she who comes down to all places will be the subject of the next chapter.